It's Frank Klesitz. I'm the viral marketing. I'm here with Chris Rodders. Why you guys are all here to learn what he's doing to get listings from his database. All right. We got 30 minutes here, Chris. All right. And I have our agenda. Would you like to know the 5 chapters for this YouTube video? I'm actually putting the chapters together in the recordings. I'm really proud of myself. Are you ready for the chapters? We're going to talk about the state of the market. Chapter 1. Chapter 2, we're going to talk about how Chris's appointment setting works, because you set a lot of appointments. Chapter 3, we're going to talk about Chris's database marketing plan. Chapter 4, Chris, we're going to talk about the lead generation messages you send out, which is the magical seller lead generation email that went out. I want to know about that.
Let there be leads.
Let there be leads. All right. And then number 5, I want to talk about the RealSync integration, which is a real secret of how people are getting notified of who to call faster and how the contacts you're putting in your database are getting updated to get the messages. So we'll talk about RealSync for step number 5. Sound good?
Sounds great.
So let's get started. Chris, what the heck's going on in Austin? We were hanging out in summer. We're in Coronado and San Diego in the summer. Everything's cool. Everything's fine. Smoking expensive cigars. Then what happened?
Oh man, it was brutal. Completely brutal.
Yeah, talk to us.
I mean, interest rates since this spring have, almost tripled. Like we have clients that are buying secondary homes with great credit, putting down 20%, paying interest rates in the 9s. We had somebody get a subprime mortgage and they got an interest rate of 11%.
Oh my God.
We have, owner occupants getting home loans in the high 7s and 8s. Again, these are folks with great credit. So these aren't like, subpar buyers. We saw a little bit of relief with rates. They went down like 0.5 point just recently when the inflation data came out. But, the Federal Reserve is expected to raise rates again in December. So, home prices obviously are taking a big hit. What's unique about the Austin, Texas market is the inventory in Austin has gone up over 400% just since May. And we have seen home prices go down over 15% just since May. So Austin was one of those cities across the United States that saw the greatest appreciation rate of any city in the entire United States. So, it went up like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
And now prices are coming down. It's a serious affordability issue here. When you go to get a loan, they look at your debt to income ratios, and with rates as high as they were, as they are, buyers' borrowing power is just getting crushed. A $500,000 loan at 2.8% last year got you, a $2,100 payment. Now a $2,100 payment at the current rates gets you a $315,000 house. So in that case, the buyer lost $185,000 in borrowing power due to rates. That's pretty significant.
Incredibly significant. So you're making some changes. Let's move on to the second thing I want to cover is explain to us how your appointment setting system works of the messages you put out. You spend a lot of money on marketing. Those leads come into ChristopherWaters.com with 2 T's. So Christopher Waters with 2 T's.com. You have a whole team of people probably sitting behind you, just pounding phones, working Salesforce to qualify, and then to literally set a bottom of the funnel listing appointment with your agents. Will you briefly go through how that system works? And then let's talk about how you're adjusting the messaging and that system given the shift.
Yeah. So, ultimately, we're spending a lot of money. When I first started in real estate 10 plus years ago, we were doing a lot of outbound prospecting, calling, for sale by owners, expireds, like these very inexpensive lead sources. And we, as the market got hotter, we shifted away from that. And, we ultimately just started spending a lot of money. We spend a couple $1 million per year in marketing to drive traffic to our website. So we're spending money across radio, TV, billboards, pay-per-click, retargeting ads, social media. We're hitting everything. And so, we're spending a significant amount of money. And then when the leads come in, they go directly to an inside sales agent. The inside sales agent is qualifying the lead. And if the consumer they're talking to is not ready to transact in the next 90 days, they don't book the appointment. They schedule follow-up and nurture the lead until they're ready to meet face-to-face. So one of our core competencies is to make sure our agents are only getting in front of people that are ready to transact now, or the worst case, the next 90 days, to limit the amount of follow-up and lead management required on the agent's behalf. And so that's a really critical piece for us, so we can help the agents focus on what they do best, which is meeting people face to face, and educating the consumer on the market, and helping them accomplish their goals.
So you have 6 appointment setters following up with all these leads,
Yep.
and you're setting about 350 listing appointments a month. Is that going up now, given the market?
So, well, we're kind of, in November and December, typically appointments go down, because of the, cyclical
Yeah,
nature
market.
of real estate. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like in the peak months, we're setting 350 listing appointments per month, which, translates to, over 100+ listings taken per month. And,
Wow.
we are, in the wintertime, that number will go down to about 200 listing side appointments and about 75 buy side appointments per month. And it's just a function of the market, no matter how much money you spend in November and December, people don't want to put their house on the market during Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, anyways, but yeah, peak months, 350, like, we're going to be, we're actually expanding our inside sales team right now. We're hiring more outbound prospectors that are going to be focusing on expireds and for sale by owners.
So
There's
that's
more.
the adjustment, less
Yeah.
writing of the checks to more hiring people to make calls.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big things we're doing to optimize the business, which I think you were about to get to, is going after those lower cost, faster converting lead sources, which is expireds for sale by owners, and getting in front of them, the people that are still interested in selling and interviewing for the job of getting the home sold.
Does the outbound team that's making the cold calls send them right to the appointment with the agent?
Yeah. So, I mean, same deal with inbound, they're going to qualify the lead. If they're not ready to transact in 90 days, they just continue to nurture them. But if they are ready to transact, they still have a need to sell, then we're going to schedule the appointment for the agent to meet them face to face as soon as possible.
And I think I just want to share with everyone, if you are shifting to an outbound cold calling strategy where someone is calling to set the appointment for someone else, that is awesome. So
Mhm.
hiring someone to cold call to set the appointment for you or someone else. And I remember I was really struggling with this in my real estate business last year. I was like, Chris, how come none of my appointments are sticking? How come all the appointments are terrible? And why is this not working for me? And he gave me a wonderful piece of advice. Will you tell everyone about the seller consultative interview the
Yeah.
outbound person does before setting the appointment? Because that changed my life.
Yeah, I can't really take any credit for this. I picked this up from Jay Kinder, and you can actually Google this. It's called the Seller Counseling Interview, and it's a pretty robust questionnaire to make sure you don't leave any stones unturned. I mean, you're asking the seller everything imaginable. What's their mortgage? What did they pay for the
The
house?
prospector
What
is.
are- yeah, the inside
Yeah.
sales rep. Yeah,
Mhm.
and so you got to get all these key questions answered to set yourself up for not only yourself, but to set the seller up for success when you meet them face to face.
So we talked about the state of the market. Everyone knows that. We shared how you book the appointments for your listing agents on the sell side. I'm also kind of curious in how you're adjusting by now hiring more, taking the money and using it for outbound cold calling, set the appointments. Have you made any adjustments in setting buyer appointments so they actually stick?
Yeah, so the major precipice of buyer appointments is the loan application process. So when the market got really hot, we used to require the buyer to get pre-approved prior to us even showing them houses, and we got away from that when the market got really hot, and we are going back to being disciplined about making sure the ISA works with the loan officer to ensure they get pre-approved for a mortgage. So the inside sales rep is sending over the link for the application process to get them pre-approved, and then confirming with the loan officer that they've been pre-approved and they filled out the application process. If you're having issues getting the buyer to show up, like, for example, like you set the appointment, but nobody shows up, that's pretty indicative. That basically tells me that the intent of the buyer is not that high. They're not that motivated. And so the one key event that we found that triggers, really high intent and validates, that this is a ready, willing, capable buyer is when they fill out that application for the loan. And so that's the key thing for us now on the buy side is we're really disciplined about making sure the inside sales rep is working with the loan officer to get an application filled out prior to meeting the consumer face to face.
I got to tell you,
Unless they live local. So that's what we do with the relocation buyers. If they live local, and they own a house, like we'll meet them face to face in advanced. If they're in an apartment, and their lease is about to expire, we'll have them come to our office. But for relocation, those are the only exceptions to the rule for the mortgage application. But if they're relocation buyers, which is a large percentage of them, I mean, 60, 70, 80% of them are relos, coming in through PPC ads and social media ads. Those buyers, we are, making sure they go through the loan app process.
I just want to share this with the audience. Obviously, Chris has the funds to do a lot of business, but that just scales up and down with the funds that you have. The real takeaway here is Chris doesn't give leads to his agents. He gives them to dedicated people with a solid CRM who are very well trained to find people who are ready to transact now and sets those appointments for the agents. That's a whole other discussion, Chris, that we can do webinars on. But that's a really key differentiator of your model of how many other teams work. You're much more efficient that way. So with that being said, let's move into chapter 3 now. I want to talk about your database marketing plan. So we talked about what you're changing with your appointment setting system. You're adding some outbound and how you're qualifying people as opposed to spending on marketing. But let's talk about what your database marketing plan is, how large your database is, what you send out, and probably, I'm guessing, how you're going to double down on that more, which is the theme and a correction. Let's talk about your database marketing plan. What are you doing? What do you recommend?
Yeah, so obviously, we leverage viral, the 2 videos a month, and we are doing 2 in-person events per year. We do like an all hands on deck. We call them call jam sessions where everybody comes into the office and we call through the entire database and invite them to the event. So 2 live events. There's twice, obviously we're calling them twice a year over the phone. And then we're also sending out the viral videos. So they're getting a total of 28 touches digitally. And then something we're adding to the mix, which we got away from when the market got really hot, was we would send out a quarterly Homes by Design magazine to them with it's got
Direct
on
mail.
there. And you know what? Like literally people keep that thing on their ottoman or on their coffee table or in their kitchen. And it works. And when the market got hot, we got away from it. So we're going to be adding Homes by Design again. It's a quarterly publication. They do everything for you. It's branded with your information. It's really good content for homeowners. And so that's what we're doing on the sell side. And then for our clients that own a house currently, and then for the buyer folks, so they're getting 32 touches basically. And then on the buy side, they're getting the viral videos. They're I forgot. There's one other thing our sellers are getting. They're getting a monthly smart market snapshot for their neighborhood.
Who do you use?
So we actually set it up through. Let's see, who do we have it set up through? We have it set up through Boomtown. So basically, we create an e-alert in Boomtown, and we set it up to where they receive it once a month. And so after they buy a home through us, the alert says market snapshot semicolon and the name of the neighborhood, and we show them all the market activity for their specific neighborhood, and that goes out once a month after they close on their house.
Got it. We're going to come to this in a bit, but all of this digital stuff that's going out, Chris's team is tracking who's clicking and engaging with it. And his appointment setters are prioritizing follow-up with those people. And this is really common when you get into the big tech world and you start using Salesforce and HubSpot and whatnot. It's called lead scoring. It's like you have all these people sitting in your database. You're like, well, I kind of got through all my good stuff. What next? Well, you start looking who's visiting the website. You start looking at who's clicking the links in the emails. And we're going to talk about that more in a minute. But your your team does do that. And the RealSync integration helps with that. RealSynch, which we'll get to later. Right?
Yeah, so and also Boomtown has that built in. Like a lot of the CRMs nowadays, I think Follow Up Boss, Sierra Interactive, Real Geeks, like a lot of them have this lead scoring functionality built in. And the other thing we're getting really disciplined about in the shifting market is we're having dedicated call jams every single day. And
Call jam, huh?
our inside sales
I
director.
like that word.
Yeah, I think I got that from Michael Reese, actually. I think I heard him say that.
Do you play jamming music?
We do play music. It's a fun atmosphere. We might play musical chairs or Twister or something to get people, in the right headspace to have fun.
Yeah.
But basically, our inside sales director, he literally pre-prints out like lists of the people for them to call. And so instead of them being in the CRM and like trying to figure who to call, he literally prints out 50 contact records on a sheet, line items, right? And gives them the list and say, here's who you're going to call. And they just start at the top and work their way down and it makes it super simple for them, right? There's no like,
Chris, that is gold, man. Did I ever tell you I went and saw Greg Harrelson out in Myrtle
that's
Beach?
where I learned it from.
Yeah,
Greg.
dude. I'm like, where's he had all these people calling and there's no computer on their desks. He's like, oh yeah, that loses everyone money. I took away their computers, and they might have one that's like locked into just the MLS, but that's it. And they had a little ruler going down the calls from a ruler on a sheet of paper.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like when I would walk out to the sales floor, like it was quiet. And I'm like, what WTF? Like we got to be on the phone to make money. And it's like I would look at what everybody was doing, and it's like they were like scrolling up and down the CRM trying to figure out who to call.
Yeah.
So our agents, the best practices is for the agents to work their hot leads and stay on top of their to-do activities and whatnot. But then when it comes to these call jams, we're trying to find more hot leads. And in the call jams, we're doing exactly what you just described earlier.
On the engagements.
We're creating our call list based off engagement. So people recently visiting the website, saving favorites, calculating loan payments. So when all those activities are happening, those are the folks we're printing out on those lists for our agents to call through so they can put more hot leads in their bucket.
Got it. Chapter 1, we started with the state of the market. I like how I'm doing this for YouTube. Chapter 2, we talked about Chris's appointment setting. Chapter 3, we talked about Chris's database marketing plan. Let's go to chapter 4. So one of the chapter 4 is the lead generation messages. Mm-hmm. So Chris is sending out helpful materials and videos and find out what your home is worth and probably property drip updates of homes for sale. Yep. People interact with them and people call them, or those jam nights, they print them off and call them, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. But what Chris loves so much is the lead generation messages. These are plain text emails, just simple emails with various offers for immediate response. I'll give the audience a few. Hey, click here to find out what your home is worth. Hey, click here to search all homes for sale. Hey, click here to register for my free home selling workshop. Hey, click here to get on my VIP buyer list. Be ready to go. Hey, click here to get a free listing improvement consultation. What renovations you should make before you sell. Click here to get a cash offer on your home. Get an off-market cash offer. Not as popular now, but that's there. Chris, we just sent out the free home value email. Did you see the leads that came in from that?
Went through the roof.
Let me pull it up. I'll do this fast because I don't want to give away your leads to everybody, but I do want them to see it. These are all of the leads that came in, Chris. Look at that, dude.
It's a lot. I mean,
yeah, phone number, email, time frame of selling, address. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, I just, you'll get a kick out of this. We are, so from that email, we booked 13 listing appointments in the last, 48 hours. Wow. And, I'm short.
You booked 13 appointments?
Yeah. 13. Yeah. So we're currently short staffed on listing agents, and literally my listing agents are so busy. And I'm having to send my director of operations on listing appointments. I'm having to send my my market manager and on listing appointments. Hell, I may even have to go on a damn list.
Have you thought about doing those on Zoom? do you think you can close them on Zoom, man, and have to drive around Austin? I'm
So,
dead serious. Do you think that that's possible? And you're in Austin.
so we tried this during COVID,
Yeah.
right? So like we couldn't go into people's homes physically in their homes. And every time we did a listing appointment over Zoom or Google Hangouts, our conversion rate just fell like a rock. I mean, it's so hard to, there's just nothing like meeting somebody face to face. And homeowners, it's a big asset. They want you to physically walk through the home. They want to feel confident. They want that
Yeah.
certainty that like the pricing and what you can do to get them the best deal in the shortest amount of time. They want to make sure like you've been thorough and walked through the home, and that's just not possible with Zoom.
Got it. So, yeah, if you guys want a copy of that email, would you guys like to see it? I'll put it here in the chat. It's not, I don't have Chris's exact one pulled out, but it's pretty darn close. Here we go. No, that's the seller workshop. Actually, I put two here in the chat. I'm going to put one for a seller workshop offer, which a little bit better leads, Chris. Like you have the free home value offer, but if you want like actually register to attend a seminar, they're a little bit more down the funnel. In the chat for everyone, I'm going to put, and you can see there the lead generation email that goes out to do like a Zoom webinar to teach people how to sell their house. In the chat, I'm also going to put more details on the free home value message that goes out that will generate the free home value leads that Chris got 13 appointments on. Why don't you call and tell me these things, Chris? Chris, I call and tell you with good news. Greg, I got good news. Your marketing doesn't suck. Thanks, Chris.
Well, I mean, you sent me an email saying, let there be leads.
There were leads. I know.
So
So I know it worked.
I know. I like positive affirmations.
Yeah, I do. What's the love language?
Affirmations.
Yeah, I need that.
God, I don't know. There's 5 of them.
Yeah, I for business, I need the words of affirmation that my work works. All right, so that's all in the chat. You guys should see that in the. I want that to everyone. You guys should see that there. Now, last but not least, last chapter. So, RealSync. This is really important. Explain what RealSync does of how this gets the information to your salespeople faster to set the appointments. One of the reasons, and this went out 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the reasons you're able to actually set 13 appointments is because that information was pushed right back to the people who had to call.
Yep.
So talk about how that worked.
Yeah. So, I mean, previously we were getting the Excel spreadsheets from the viral team and they would deliver them like, 24 to 48 hours after, the newsletter was sent, which is, fine.
It's fine,
but
not ideal.
But like, basically viral, you guys use MyEmma. And so RealSync integrated MyEmma in our CRM. And so as soon as people are clicking on that newsletter, that engagement by the consumer is notifying our inside sales rep, hey, this person's like going deep, there's high intent for them to sell. And then the inside sales rep is calling them instantly. So like, while they still could be reading the email, we're calling them. And so again, the spreadsheets you guys send out's great, but it's like, if you can call them while they're still reading the newsletter, that's pretty hot. Because it's top of mind for them.
Let alone if your website lets you track when they're on the website, you're calling them.
Right. Yep.
If you have that functionality in your CRM, but I digress.
Yeah. And then, the other thing is like, if you look at, I imagine for anybody watching this, if you look at your closings for the past year, your agents probably had quite a few closings that came from their sphere. And one of the biggest pains in the ass is getting your agents to put their sphere in your CRM. It's super cumbersome, right? They gotta it takes them forever. Yeah. And so, man, this has been completely game changing. And
everyone listen to this, because if you're a viral client, please do this.
It's the timing of this has been impeccable with the shift, because we're trying to figure out how to squeeze out more closings without having to spend money. So anyways, RealSync created an integration between, they've got this with Boomtown, Sierra,
Google Contacts,
all of them. Yeah. And so anyways, they integrate, RealSync integrates Google Contacts with your CRM. And it's literally one click and it extracts all of the contacts out of your agent's personal Gmails and it pushes them into the CRM. So your agents can initiate drip emails, e-alerts, schedule to do activities for follow-ups, and start marketing to their database. And so literally this is probably one of the biggest holes I would be willing to bet in everybody's real estate business is extracting your team's personal contact records and getting them into the CRM. I mean, this has been a complete, just overnight game changer
All right.
for us. Our
Let me-
database
let me-
exploded.
If you're watching this, I just went to my Gmail. You have Gmail, and you can click these little 3 dots by 3 dots up here. All right, these Google apps, and then you select contacts. And once you're there, scroll on down to other contacts on the left-hand side, and then select the very first contact. These are some steps. Click this and click all. So now it selects every single contact you have in your whole address book. And then click export. I have 14,000 Chris. So what
Yep.
Chris is saying is in your next team meeting, have all your agents do this and sync them all into the email newsletter.
Well, here's the beauty of it.
Right.
You don't have to get your agents to do this. So
It just
literally,
automatically links up.
so you, the owner of the company, can basically get, you click a button on the back end of RealSync, and it will send a notification to your agent's personal email and their company email. And so when the agent logs into their Gmail, it'll ask for permission to basically extract all their contacts. And so you, the team owner, literally with like, 3 clicks, are able to extract all of your agent's contacts. And we're talking like less than 60 seconds.
Chris, I've been getting a lot of calls from brokerage owners at Keller Williams, team owners, being like, dude, I got to generate some leads, and I don't want to have to pound cold calls. I don't want to risk the money on advertising. What do you
Mhm.
got, Frank? I'm like, look, you should be doing viral in the program for your own database, but how many agents you got? Well, I don't know. I got 5, 10, 15, 20, more than that. I'm like, well, what are you doing to help them communicate with their list? And the very first step is just building awareness by having all those agents log into their cell phone contacts and see how many they have and how many Gmail contacts they have, and putting some type of database marketing plan in place for that.
Mhm.
And RealSync helps sync that. So go check out realsync.com. The viral clients that sign up for it's not that expensive, like $30 a month for the basic integration.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
right,
super
Chris?
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
super
like a
cheap.
Zapier. Is it gives me the contacts to do my marketing to get these results.
Yeah,
So
depending on how many agents you have, like let's say you have a huge team, like worst case, and let's say there's like, you've got like thousands and thousands of API calls, meaning like you're getting crap tons of contacts put into the CRM by your agents, like win, huge win, by the way. Like worst case, like I think the RealSync plan max out at like $250. It's like an unlimited all you can eat kind of buffet thing for $250 a month. And that's what I'm paying. And I have 30 plus buyer agents. I have 20 plus 25 plus listing agents. So we're extracting like we're talking tens of thousands of contact records
at that level, yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but if you're a small team or you're an individual agent, it's like $30. I mean, you can't like, it would take you 8 hours to suck your contacts out of all these places and push them into your CRM.
Well,
So
hunting down the agents to do it and getting them to log in.
yeah. And
All
if
right.
you have a team of agents, getting them to do it is like, huge pain in the ass.
So I promised 30 minutes. We covered the state of the market. We covered Chris books the bottom of the funnel listing and buyer appointments and some insights of how he's doing that for his agents. We also talked about in chapter 2 how he's adding more outbound calling with a seller consultation given the state of the market. With all that, we talked about Chris's database marketing plan. He has a huge database, but don't worry about the size. It could work for any business,
Yeah.
any
doesn't
size
matter.
list, right? And what he's sending out. In addition to everything he's sending out, the real thing, chapter 4, is the lead generation messages. Just of once a month, hitting that entire list with click here to go get this or go register for this. And I gave you guys some examples of that. I put some in the chat, one for a seller workshop, which people would love right now, by the way, what's going on if they want to sell. And one for a free home value report, the full copy, full email, full landing page right there for you guys. Then last but not least, for the fifth chapter, something unique that Chris does and a unique software program he has that allows a lot of this, kind of removes a lot of the friction of the list and the calls with the system, is RealSync. So Chris, we wrote a book together. You wrote the book, The $1 Million Real Estate Team. How you went from zero to netting $1 million in 3 years. And you did, which is crazy.
Yep.
With your own brokerage.
Tax returns to prove it.
I love that. It's so true, isn't it? Got to say that. Where does someone go to get a copy of that?
So you can get a copy of it on Amazon. I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks. And then the Amazon actually controls the price, not us. And then we have a landing page dedicated for the book. And I think I've got a URL where people can get it for free. And so I guess anybody watching this, you guys can go check out the landing page where you can get the book for free. It's the$1,000,000realestateteam.com. I know that's crazy long. the$1,000,000realestateteam.com. And it's, you know, it's our documented journey of scaling the team. And you get the book on there for free, like a physical copy of it. We'll pay to print the book out, and we just ask for you to cover the shipping and handling. That's all.
And then if you guys want a copy of the marketing plan that Chris is running with Viral.
Hey, by the way, just a disclaimer, like legit, you know, I used to think people that charge shipping and handling, that was like a joke, but like it actually, you know, like literally it cost us like, you know, packaging, the stamp, you know, like $5-6 to ship the damn book out. So anyways,
That's true.
We don't make any, like literally we lose money every time we give that book away because it costs, I think it costs us like $4 or $5 to print it out. We also have a digital copy online you can get for free. I think if you go to the website there, you can get the digital one for free. And then Amazon, obviously, yeah. So go check it out. I don't, you know, the publishing thing is a nonprofit for us. We don't make any money on the publishing side. We give all the money.
You sold a lot of them. There's good reviews. So I want people to read
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
I read it with you.
I don't know how many, we've sold tens of thousands of copies of it. I don't even know how many copies we've sold at this point.
You guys want a copy of Chris's video marketing plan? Go to our website, download it there. Chris, thanks for your time, dude. Thanks for doing this. Promise you 30 minutes.
Hey,
knocked it out. You can go back to walking around your robe. Don't lie to me that it's not a robe.
Hey, my favorite disclaimer to always say to people is I have been a paying Viral client for, I don't know, 10 years now.
Yeah.
And, you know, like when I first started the business, it seemed like a lot of money, and because I was a small agent, and I called Frank and I said, Frank, I don't want to pay you 500 or 600 or whatever dollars a month it is. I don't want to pay you. Can you just tell me how to do this? And you said, sure, I'll show you exactly how to set it all up. You know, pay me like $2,000 or $3,000. I'll send you the camera. And I paid the money, the $2,000 or $3,000, and I didn't implement. And what I discovered is the real gold in viral marketing is, number one, it's somebody holding you accountable to push content out. That's like number one. It's kind of like a coach, right? Like viral marketing is kind of like a coach and holds you accountable to marketing to your database. And then the number two thing, that's the highest ROI, that I literally I don't have anything else in my business with this high of ROI. And it is the magical seller emails. Like literally we send those out once a quarter. We sent it out just a couple days ago. And like the ROI,
well, the free home value once a quarter, but there's other things that go out once a month.
Yeah. But it's unquantifiable, the quality of the copy. So the thing that Frank, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Frank is the most skilled copywriter in the real estate industry. And if you went on Upwork and you tried to hire someone like Frank, you're going to pay, I don't know, $500 to $1,000 per piece of content. And and you guys are giving us, 2 pieces of content per month, plus you're sending everything out through my Emma, and you're,
thanks, man.
Managing everything. So like, I mean, now I've got a full-blown marketing department. I could easily replace Viral now. And my VP of marketing, who's this very highly paid, guy, VP of marketing, very, very expensive guy, said, Chris, I can't replace what Viral does for the price. I can't replace it. And so anyways,
thank God.
I am still a paying customer for everybody watching this. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm a raving fan of what you do, Frank. I appreciate everything you do in the real estate industry. And you're one of the few people I know that is a vendor and helps support people in the real estate space and obsesses on the success of real estate and understanding the business. I mean, like nobody else obsesses on understanding the business as much as you do. which is I think is a key secret to your success and helping drive so much value for agents. And so, anyways, I'm gonna
Good. I
stop
appreciate the
preaching,
kind
but
words.
yeah, appreciate.
Yeah, I
I
told
appreciate.
everybody on my next meeting to wait. I want to stick around for this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, anyways,
All
thank you
right,
for
we'll wrap it up. Hey, Chris, thank you. Thank you, everybody. You can go here. There will be a replay. We're going to go post it up. I hope you guys got some good value out of it. Thanks for attending. Appreciate you, Chris. See
you
everybody
guys.
later.